friends. I don't got no friends. You know what I mean? I got supporters, people on my side and people on the other side.
Welcome to the shift where the whole room blows. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. This you flat, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm like, yo, shine just right. Respect your view even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. This that channel that be talking back, energy attack. Iron sharpens iron, watch the whole league react. Competition in the building, better tighten up your facts. We ain't clones, but we still mirror how you crack under impact. Every debater work hard, spot a weak, rep fast. You live wrong, paradigm shift, and break your stance. I'm the judge, the jury, the pen, the contrast. My bars hit always like a quadruple. Bond to the shift, where the whole room glow. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't all align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. We invite every mind, long as you stand on yours. Walking with respect, leave with open doors. Channel stay lit, views jumping off from boards. STL bounce, yeah, the spy from the source. Competitors, welcome, step up, don't fold. We don't fit pressure, we refine under load. Thoughts heavy, we press them till the truth gets told. Shift so clean, it feel platinum even when it's gold. Come through correct, bring your logic and your proof. Speak your truth, just don't run from the truth. We debate with grace, that's the paradigm groove. Flow so smooth, even turbulence move. Welcome to the shift where the whole room go. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Where the whole go. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' go. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Welcome to the shift. DMG vibes got the city on go. Welcome to the shift. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. Welcome to the shift. If you black, I'm with you, if you black, I'm with you. Welcome to the shift. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. Welcome to the shift. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Welcome to the shift. DMG vibe, got the city on low. With paradigm shift, keep it real for.
Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you. And I hope that you with me.
Oh no, I can't stand it. Don't ever make the mistake of sticking your nose in my business. If I'm down and out, I'll get up and take care of myself. Woo, I'm gonna tear you down. When I get to town, we're gonna treat all you women the way women ought to be treated. Miami Beach, get ready. Woo, we on tour and we're doing it better than anybody else alive. It's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name when last year I spent more money on spilled liquor in bars from one side of this world to the other than you made. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding,
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did this for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I might tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings, I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you on my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about old. I'm on that now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. Trash now, I'ma pass out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been duck dog getting to my new merch, color duck sauce on the new couch with my Chuck's on. Get the on with that hate. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a Hawkeye on the ball cat. Get the out of my face.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Hey, welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki, also known as the infamous DMG. Now, this is a little bit different of a show. This is something I've been wanting to do for a minute in terms of expanding in the podcast realm. So this will be going on Spotify either tomorrow or Tuesday as an audio feature, and y'all can go check out the Spotify once that happens, and I start dropping the links in the chat. It'll be some stuff that's exclusive to Spotify, but for the most part, I'm gonna try to go live over here and then upload it to Spotify. I know most people do it the other way, but I like going live on YouTube with y'all, whoever want to come and rock with your boy. So the infamous perspective. So it's just my perspective on whatever topic. I'm gonna open up the chat. I may not do that every show, but I'm definitely gonna do it for this show because I'm curious to see what the reactions and statements are gonna be surrounding what I'm saying about this particular topic. I'm a little bit under the weather, so y'all bear with me. May not go as long as I intended to, but I've been putting this off for like 3 weeks. So I went ahead and go ahead and get down to it. That being said, was Christianity forced on African-American slaves in America? Was Christianity forced? And real quick, I'm just going to read the definition of Christianity right quick. Christianity is the world's largest monotheistic religion centered on the life, teachings, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Followers believe Jesus is the Son of God and Messiah, Savior in parentheses, who died to atone for humanity's sins, offering reconciliation with God. It emphasizes a loving relationship with God, grace, and eternal life. Now, my question is, why do we say that right there, Christianity was forced on our ancestors? And I got some reasons why I disagree with that statement. As I've said up here many times, one thing we know for sure is they never gave our ancestors the entire corpus of the book, right? That is supposed to be the backbone, so to speak, or the basis of what Christian teachings are. They never gave it to them. Now, they did cherry pick scriptures out of that book and, weaponize those scriptures. But if it's not the whole corpus of the book, how can they be actually teaching what that book is supposed to teach? Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. And I think I asked my man Hurt and I asked my man Jose, what if I took the Kemetic tradition and the sacred texts thereof and I cherry picked certain scriptures out of it? If I took the Quran and I cherry picked certain surahs thereof, I forgot how you say the Indian joint, the Bhagavad Gita or something like that. If I took certain text out of that, whatever spiritual belief you have, if someone takes and cherry picks scriptures out of that to fit the narrative that they trying to spin, would that then entail Islam, the Kemetic tradition, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, etc.? My man Hercules was honest. He said no. But when we got to Christianity and I asked, so then why do we say Christianity was forced when that was the exact situation our ancestors was put in? They never got the full corpus of the text. He said, well, it's different because, wait, whoa. So Christianity get different rules than every other religion, according to my man Hercules. And I'm just curious as to why that is, because it don't really make sense. We love to emphasize that our ancestors was forced to be Christians. First of all, I don't know who think you can force somebody to believe something, especially when you're demonstrating the opposite of what you are asking somebody to believe. Listen, the worst thing, I remember when I was coming up and I started doing my little hustle. My father was the last person who I was about to listen to about why you shouldn't hustle. You know why? Because he hustled. Because common sense is if somebody is telling you something that's counter to the way they actually live in their life, you're going to look at them sideways. And if y'all think our ancestors was too dumb, too stupid, too unintelligent to recognize hypocrites when they seen them, I don't know what to tell y'all, because y'all the ones who say y'all rock with our ancestors. Some of y'all say y'all pray to them. Shout out to my man, Joel Armstead. Some of y'all say y'all pray to our ancestors. So y'all praying to dummies? Y'all praying to weaklings? Well, make it make sense. Because what I know about our ancestors is they were smarter than that. So not only did they not have the full corpus of the text, right? When they did get it, they made decisions for themselves on whether or not they was going to follow it. People say Christianity was forced on our ancestors, and they act like as soon as you got off the boat, hey, whatever your name was, it's now a European name, and you got to be a Christian. And if you're not a Christian, we're going to beat you to, and understand, our ancestors got over here late 1500s, early 1600s. In mass, our people didn't become Christians in this country till after 1800. So when did this forcing begin? What we know for a fact, see, that's rhetoric and that's cap. Now, the one thing you can say was forced on our ancestors was Europeanism. You had to change your name to a European name. You had to dress the way Europeans dressed and talk and speak and act and spoke their language. Europeanism was for sure forced on our ancestors. But I don't know how y'all saying Christianity was forced on our ancestors when they didn't get the full text. They saw the hypocrisy of the enslaver. And then when they did get the full text after 1800, they still wasn't rocking with what the enslaver said. We know this because they set up church for themselves. They snuck out under the cover of night. The same, when they were sneaking out to plan escapes and to coordinate with the Underground Railroad, we know for a fact they was having church services. Because when they started reading books like the Exodus, and they realized, wait a minute, we ain't never heard about that. God is a God of liberty. And understand, I'm not proselytizing to nobody. I'm not asking nobody to be a Christian. I'm not telling nobody they should be a Christian. What I am suggesting is stop with this cap like our ancestors was punks, like they was weak, like they was stupid, and somebody could force them to believe something. It's just not true. Now, if you want to say, yeah, they force European culture and customs on them, then that's what's up. But to say, this, like, I'm just trying to figure out how this constitutes Christianity being forced, because y'all wouldn't give that to no other spiritual belief if they didn't have the full text. That's number one. So we done right there. You can't give somebody something if you're not giving them the full text that something is being taught out of. It can't be Christianity right there. That's first. But second is, why was our ancestors sneaking and having church if being a Christian was mandatory? You ain't got to sneak to do what's mandatory. So I'm just curious, how do we come to those conclusions? Why do we come to those conclusions? Did we just hear this rhetoric over and over again and decide that's what it is? You know how, like, when you tell a lie enough times, you start to believe it. And if you hear something consistently enough, you just take it as a fact. I feel like that's what happened. Because when you do actual historical research, you find out these people was not rocking with this quote unquote Christianity that the enslaver was trying to spew. We heard the quotes from Frederick Douglass. We heard the slave narratives. They were not rocking with that fraudulent brand of Christianity. Frederick Douglass, as a matter of fact, called it fraudulent and hypocritical. I guess y'all know better than Frederick Douglass, because he said he despised that brand of quote unquote Christianity, but he loved the genuine brand of Christianity. So I guess y'all know better than him, who lived through slavery, experienced it firsthand, But y'all know better than him whether or not Christianity was forced. I'm kind of, I don't get it. I think Michelle dropped my Substack article talking about this very thing and the nuances that one has to partake in to understand the context of what I'm saying. So I'm simply going off of what the ancestors, who we supposed to love and respect and honor, I'm going off of what they said. And if we going off of what they said, how we coming to a particular conclusion other than it fit what we wanted to fit, it fit what's comfortable for us. Like, I ain't mad at nobody who don't want to be a Christian. For whatever reason, you don't want to be a Christian. What I am telling you is, one of the reasons you got to take off is that it was forced on our ancestors. If you're looking at it from an actual historic lens based on what our ancestors said, it's either that or you just saying, I don't believe what they said. And you can look up slave narratives. You can look up what Frederick Douglass said, what Phyllis Wheatley said, what Sojourner Truth said, what they did. Again, this ain't even my opinion. I'm telling you what the very people who experienced it said. I'm telling you historically what we know about their situation is they were never given that full book. So I don't know why we say it's Christianity when we wouldn't do that with anything else. Like, if you, whatever you want to do, if you just want to be a YouTuber, it's some things that gotta unfold in order for you to be a YouTuber. If you say you want to be a part of a sorority, if you want to be a plumber, anything you attach yourself to, there are some requirements for it. And what the enslaver did don't fit those requirements. So my second thing is, why do we call the enslaver Christians? And it's not like we don't have a compare and contrast to put forth when it comes to the enslaver, because we do. Because what they was doing didn't line up with what Christian values is supposed to be. But we still give them the respect of saying that they was Christians. Now, when it's a gang member out here and he's supposed to be a blood, but he got on blue, you would tell him in a minute he perpetrating a fraud. You'll say it in a minute. If it's a sorority member who is doing the opposite of what their organization or their fraternity entails them to do, if they throwing up another fraternity sign, you would be quick to tell them they perpetrating a fraud. But we say the enslaver was Christians, as if we don't know what that's supposed to entail. Because we got an issue with Christianity. And because we got an issue with Christianity, we suspend certain things, because my brother said, if I cherry picked Islam and called it Islam, it wouldn't be Islam. If I cherry picked stuff out of the Kemetic text and tried to apply, it wouldn't be the Kemetic text or Kemetic spirituality, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to Christianity, we allow it. So I don't know why we call the enslaver Christians. Even the Bible say, many will come to me saying, Lord, Lord, I did this in your name and I did that in your name. And he gonna say, get away from me, you workers of iniquity. Even the Bible say that. So I don't care what they call themselves. If they not meeting the requirements of what they calling themselves, they wouldn't that. If I say I'm a bodybuilder and I got an 8-pack and then I show y'all my pot belly that I actually got, y'all would say, nah, my G, you're not a bodybuilder. I don't even care if they believed in Jesus. Because y'all, that's another thing y'all get twisted. Y'all say, well, they believed that Jesus was God and that he was crucified and resurrected. So did that. What that got to do with anything? It's a bunch of people that believe that, but the way they live their life don't line up with what they saying they believe. So you can believe that that's the truth. But if your actions don't line up with what knowing that's the truth entails, then you still perpetrating a fraud. If you say you believe that Jesus is God and he was crucified and resurrected, but you cheat on your wife, your actions don't line up with what you're saying. If you beat your wife, if you beat your kids, if you a PDF file or a rapist, you can believe that that's true all you want to, but you don't meet the qualifications to actually be that. It don't matter if you believe. So you can tell me they believed. That's not the only requirement. And we know that's not the only requirement because the Bible talk about backsliders. So if believing was the only requirement, then what is a backslider? That means you was with it and you backslid, now you're not with it because you no longer meet the requirements. So don't tell me they believed and that just made them a Christian. No, it's a little more complicated than that. I can't come up here talking about big beard energy and I ain't got no beard. You can't say you believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ and do what these people was doing to our ancestors. But we got an even clearer picture that demonstrates who was who, because we had Christian abolitionists, white Christian abolitionists who put their life on the line so that our ancestors could be free. They coordinated with the Underground Railroad, literally risked life and limb. Some died because they was fighting for our ancestors to be free. I know y'all know about John Brown, but John Brown wasn't the only one. He just the most famous one because his conflict was the catalyst for the Civil War. But it was many John Browns, many white Christian preachers, white Christian lawyers who was fighting for our ancestors to be free. So much so that, again, they hiding them up under floorboards, hiding them in their carriages. And if caught, they risked jail time, physical harm, and even death. Now, when we put that clean glass of people risking their life for our ancestors' freedom up against that dirty glass of people who wanted to keep our ancestors enslaved, which one of them was Christians? I keep hearing niggas say it was both. But that don't make sense because one meets the requirements and the other one don't. And I know we smarter than that. So we either got to admit that we biased because we don't like Christianity, which is okay. That's okay. I ain't mad at nobody who don't like Christianity. 5 years ago, I was right with you. But I ain't never denied the truth of what our people's history is as it pertains to Christianity. Aside from that, when you know better, you do better. If you're going to be truthful about quote unquote scholarship and all of this other stuff. So from a historical standpoint, y'all got to start putting some respect on my ancestors' names. They weren't dummies. They weren't punks. They didn't roll over and just believe something because somebody was kicking their back in, literally kicking their back in. They made a choice to believe it. Whether you believe it to be the truth or not is irrelevant. I'm just telling you how it went down for them by their own admissions. Read what Frederick Douglass said about the quote unquote Christianity of the enslaver versus genuine Christianity. Frederick Douglass, who unlike us was a slave. See, we get to look at it in retrospect. He lived it. But we want to tell him what was what. We want to tell the person who lived it because we got the benefit of looking back at it in hindsight. So that we want to tell the person who lived it what he say is irrelevant. That's crazy work. And I ain't saying nothing that you can't look up. When was it forced? When was it forced on our ancestors if our ancestors en masse didn't become Christians till after the year 1800? Most enslaved Africans were still practicing either the actual African spiritual concept that they came over with or a variation of it. Meaning how these African spiritual concepts that all of these different Africans who were now pushed together because you had people who wouldn't even speak in the same language. That's how dastardly the enslaver was. So out of this amalgamation of African spiritual concepts, you got beliefs like hoodoo, which hoodoo was then incorporated into Christianity. See, y'all, a lot of y'all like to say Christianity, it erases your culture. But y'all forget, our culture was taken away from us. We had to create a whole new culture. And Christianity didn't take our culture away. Evil, racist, white supremacists, Europeans did. See, learn the difference between Christianity and Europeanism. A lot of y'all think Christianity is part and parcel with white supremacy, but it's not. It's actually counterintuitive to be a Christian and a white supremacist. That's why the abolitionist was like, hold up, wait, wait a minute. This don't make sense. The free blacks, because all blacks in America weren't slaves. You had free people up north who never were slaves. What's my man Tunis? He was a black creature from up north. His parents was free. He was never a slave, but he was an abolitionist. He never was a slave, but he was fighting for his fellow Africans to be free. And he was a preacher who showed up in the South with a 400-man army. I'll never hear y'all talk about him, though. I'll never hear y'all talk about them white folk that was putting their life on the line so our ancestors could get free. Y'all like to talk about that white enslaver who did all them horrible things to our ancestors, and they deserve to be talked about. They deserve to be exposed. The evil they perpetrated deserves to be highlighted so we know we can't never let that happen again. But y'all don't never talk about the white abolitionists who was fighting for our ancestors to get free. That's weird. It's weird. But again, let's reflect, because I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Let's reflect. They didn't get the full corpus of the text, meaning they didn't get the entire Bible. Last time I checked, somewhere I read, and y'all help me out, to be a Christian, you gotta be a little familiar with the entire Bible. Just like ain't no such thing as halfway crooks, ain't no such thing as halfway believers. So if you didn't get the full corpus of the text, I don't know how what you was getting exposed to was even Christianity. So that's bananas right there. But then, by their own admission, they saw that the people giving them these cherry-picked scriptures wouldn't even lining up with what they were told a Christian was supposed to be. So they calling them out in these slave narratives on their hypocrisy. So that's two. They knew the enslaver was a hypocrite. And they never got the whole corpus of the text, so they wouldn't be taught Christianity. They wouldn't be enforced Christianity. The Bible was weaponized, but that ain't the same as forcing Christianity. Now, if we were told, if we knew they were using the entire Bible, but we already know that ain't true, then I could understand the argument a little more. So even they knew these people weren't actually Christians. Hence what Frederick Douglass said. Also, you got the clean glass against the dirty glass. You got that dirty glass with them enslavers not lining up with Christian ideals, and you got the abolitionists who was black and white folk working together to free our ancestors from slavery. Make it make sense that Christianity was forced on our ancestors. I'm gonna read the definition one more time. Christianity is the world's largest monotheistic religion centered on the life, teachings, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Followers believe Jesus is the Son of God and the Messiah, Savior, in parentheses, who died to atone for humanity's sins, offering reconciliation with God. It emphasizes a loving relationship with God, grace, and eternal life. Y'all think the enslaver was teaching that to our ancestors, was forcing that on our ancestors? How about this? We know for a fact they didn't want our ancestors to be Christians, partly because if they was Christians, they would have had to set them free. I forget the sister's name, but she married a white boy. She was born into slavery, married a white boy, and when the enslaver died, she was supposed to be set free, but the new owner of the plantation was like, nah, you still a slave. Get your butt back there. Her husband like, hold up, she's supposed to be free. Not only that, she's a Christian. See, all of that, she was supposed to be set free by the previous owner. That wouldn't get nothing done. When he said she was a Christian, and then she demonstrated that she was a Christian, they had to let her go. So you think the enslaver wanted our ancestors to be Christians? You think they was teaching them Christianity? Stop playing with me. I'm low-key offended at the scholars and all these smart people who saying this. Keep it real and just say Europeanism was forced on our ancestors. Keep it real and put some respect on our ancestors' name and say they made a conscious choice once they got the entire text to follow this belief, that they integrated African spiritual concepts into their belief. Like rest in peace, Sister Ruth Miller. I used to see this woman do a belly yell in church, right? And she'd start moving in a particular way. And I happened to be looking at something years later. It was a traditional African spiritual ceremony, and she started moving just like Sister Miller. Because Christianity didn't erase their culture. It enhanced it. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, man. Y'all come up and holler at your boy. I know some people probably in their feelings, and that's all right. I got some of my church folk watching, so keep your language very tame. No cursing. If you curse, I'm kicking you off. With all due respect, we'll be friends later if that's what you want, and if you ain't, I understand. But because of the people who I've sent this to, I want the language to stay respectful. And if that's a problem, kick rocks till your toes bleed. But the link is in the chat. Come holler at your boy, whether you agree or disagree with me. Let's talk about it. Conversation can spark change. You may spark a change in me. I may spark a change in you, or we can just agree to disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. Hey, I'm live, bro. It'll be over in time for us to do our thing.
What's up?
In an hour.
Now you know DMG.
What was that?
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. So it should be 6 on my end, 6:15. Let me look at it right quick. Yeah, it's 6:15 on my end. It say live in 61 minutes. All right, bro. My man Jose, what
Well,
up?
you know, I had to quote Will Smith in Focus, right? When you get too deep into a story, right? Whether it's true, whether it's a lie, whatever. If it's a lie, you gotta die with the lie. If I don't went too far, DMG. I can't come back now, boy. I don't talk way too much tata. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey, you crazy.
I don't
bro.
talk way too much. Nah, I don't talk way too much tata to Jesus. Jesus didn't want to hear me again.
Hey, listen.
Get out of
I'm
here.
gonna tell you right now, you ain't said nothing worse than what I said.
But listen, I'm gonna say something people understand. It's only because you named DMG, I ain't going in. And you know that.
No. Listen, Jose. If you disagree, I need you to voice your disagreements, and we can talk about it. This is your opportunity to tell me why you disagree with what I'm saying, whether or not you think what I'm saying is factual, etc. This is your opportunity. You know, I'm not. Hey, listen, man. I love my people. I'm not mad at whatever they believe in. That's why normally I didn't do it this time. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather. But I say what I say. God bless my Christian brothers and sisters. Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth. Shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters. Salute to the atheists. Salute to the Abos. Salute to the Rosters. And Jumbo to everybody else. Because I don't care what you believe. If you black, I rock with you. And you ain't got to agree with what I believe. But we're gonna have an opportunity to have a dialogue about it. And we can agree to disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable.
Well, let me tell you and take my own advice. Since you did write it, I should do you the respect of at least putting something in writing to respond to you since you did take your time to write it. That's
Okay.
it. Unlike other people who want to call me 7 Slides Francis. Every time I come on here, my name is 7 Slides Francis.
That's hilarious.
I'm embracing that from now on. Because what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to redo the presentation, fix the mistakes. I probably got to add a couple more slides. I'm going to come back on and do it. From now on, when you see me, I'm 7 slides. I'm going to embrace that.
Okay, I got you.
Because at least I put something out there for people to critique. And I want you to know, if you have a problem with what I'm saying, at least go over it and do me the respect of responding to what I put on the slides. Then you can call me 7 slides after at least you respond to what I said. I don't mind.
No doubt. So tell me, Jose, tell me why you think Christianity. I read the definition. I gave you my spiel on why I say Christianity wasn't forced on our ancestors. Tell me why you think it was.
But here's the thing. 99.99% of Christians don't deal with what Christ said anyway. Because they don't read the damn book.
Jose, I need you to focus. We're not talking about whether quote unquote Christians actually do what they supposed to do as Christians. I'm asking you, why do you believe Christianity was forced on our ancestors?
Because when you look at the history of the Catholic Church, which is the original canonized Christians, they treated you.
Time out. Just quick time out. Did you say the Catholic Church was the original Christians?
The original canonized Christianity was.
Keep going. I Keep going.
Right.
We're going to see if we can't get past it, but go ahead.
So they wrote papal bull stating if you're a Christian, we would treat you differently. If you're not a Christian, you had no soul, and we could enslave you and take all your shit. That's why they released the sister, because she was a Christian. They didn't care about her humanity at all. But if she wasn't a Christian, she'd have still been up in there. So even when you look at Nzinga, she eventually ended up becoming a Christian and getting off the hook with the enslaver because she eventually became a Christian after decades of fighting. So therein is my problem. You should treat everybody the same, whether they're Christian or not. I should be fighting a Muslim or Hebrew because we all believe in the same book. So what is the fight about? Because the book tells you shouldn't do that. The book tells you shouldn't be a Bible thumper and just read a scripture and a scroll and don't have it in your heart. So if you don't know that, then you ain't even a Christian by your own standard, by your own book. Because if you don't know what Jesus did, you can't follow it. So there's my problem with it. Don't come with this half-baked thing when you apparently have a full text and then get mad at me because I'm pointing out that they're being hypocritical. I'm not saying that applies to you. Because I really
Listen, I need you to focus solely on whether Christianity was forced on our ancestors or not. We can talk about whether Christians actually act accordingly. We can talk about that at another date. I don't mind talking about that either.
That's gonna be a part 2.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it was definitely.
When you say the Catholic Church were the original canonized Christians, where do you get that from?
When you look at the Church of Alexander, which would have been the foundation of the canonized Christianity, they were Catholics. They mixed several different indigenous beliefs in with Catholicism simply to make it easier to control people and to appeal to the masses. Because according to Christianity, you shouldn't be praying to no statues. Those are idols, correct? Statues are idols in Christianity.
I'm listening.
Right. You ain't supposed to do that. You ain't supposed to pray to your ancestors. That's not a part of, according to them, that's not a part of Christianity. Because they say Jesus didn't do that. Now, we don't know if he did that, if he was a real person. But that's a whole nother topic of if Jesus was a literal person.
Okay, let me ask you this. When do you believe Christianity started? Because you said that the Catholic Church were the original
canonized Christians, yes.
Canonized Christians, right?
Yes.
In that sense. Okay. So when do you believe Christianity started?
I should know the exact chronology, but I don't want to lie. So I need to do more research and be better prepared. But to me, Catholicism was the original canonized Christianity. That is where everybody followed. That is where it started. And everybody started branching off.
I'm listening to you, but I gotta correct you, and then we're gonna get to the brother that just came up. So the Catholic Church, as we know it, started in 590 CE with Gregory Pope. So now we know Christianity started at 33 AD or something somewhere in there. And anybody in the chat that wasn't correct.
That wasn't really.
Hold on, because everybody talk about the Council of Nicaea, right?
Right, but they were known as Christians much later than that. You realize that, right, DMG?
Hear me out.
All right.
Everybody talk about Constantine and the Council of Nicaea and what was that, 325, right?
Right.
But y'all do know Christianity existed before that. Let me tell you how we know. So Constantine was whatever number Roman emperor he was.
Yes.
Way further down the line from, let's say, a Nero, right? Would you agree? Because Nero was part of the Judeo-Claudian. Hear me out. Nero was the last emperor in the Judeo-Claudian dynasty. That's Augustus or Octavian or Caesar Augustus. I think Tiberius, Caligula, and then Nero. Not in that order, but that's the dynasty. A lot of people like to talk about the Flavians, who were part of it. They became their own dynasty after Nero was emperor. But what people don't talk about, it was 4 emperors involved in the civil war after Nero died. And that civil war lasted, I want to say, like 4 years before the Flavians actually took the throne. But here's why I bring that up. We know that Nero was the last of the first 4 emperors in Rome, in the Roman Empire.
Right.
He writes about, we know he said he blamed the Christians for burning Rome. So if Christianity didn't start till the Catholic Church started, who is these Christians Nero talking about? Because wasn't Wasn't no Catholic church.
Hear my word. Canonize is the word that I use.
I got you.
There's a difference between
this
bunch of individuals running around.
I got you. But here I gotta tell you why that's cap again, bro. Because the Orthodox Church has always existed.
What the Greek Orthodox Church
it existed. When Constantine adopted Christianity, you still had an Orthodox Christian church that was operating, that had they canonized texts that people like to say homeboy came up with. The Orthodox Church always existed, bro. We give Rome so much credit for Christianity, and they was Johnny come latelys to the belief. Why? Like, that's like giving the Ptolemies credit for Kemetic spirituality. Well, they the Johnny come latelys.
Let me say this, and don't get mad at me. I'm actually
mad at you as long as you factual with what you're saying.
I'm pleasantly surprised at your knowledge of Christian history. I'll give you respect for that. Now, I am not that interested in Christian history to know whether what you're saying is true or not. So I'm not going to jump on here and say it's not true. I need to do research to find out what you're saying because I haven't dug that deep into it. So I don't want to say that's cat. That's not right. I wouldn't do that.
Hey, we got another brother on, Jose. I'm gonna come back around to you. What's up, bro?
Peace. This is Pan Mulattoism, and I'll try to keep it brief. The reason that I formally endorse Christianity, and for the sake of this argument, I'm gonna also include the Hebrew Israelism. I'm gonna include them as well within the same category, is because as a descendant of U.S. chattel slaves, when I look back on our history in the U.S., when we were more focused on the Bible, we had higher rates of, we had lower rates of out of wedlock births. We had lower rates of homosexuality, and we had much lower rates of abortions. So in my estimation, if we were to collectively pick the Bible back up, we would see less homosexuality within the Black American communities. We will see less children being aborted within the Black American communities, which will boost our population growth rate, and we will be able to actually compete against the Latinos, Asians, and the whites that outnumber us. And we will see our marriage rates, our marital rates increase, and we will be raising our children.
You broke up a little bit, bro. You still there? All right, let's see if the brother can get his audio back. Jose, what you think of what the brother said?
I think personally, I don't respect nothing Pan Mulattoism said, and I think he's a troll. So I'm gonna leave that there. And let me give you the most important reason why I don't deal with Christianity. I had a horrible experience.
No. Jose, again, I stay focused. This ain't about me and you. This ain't about me and you. Listen to me. This is about whether Christianity was forced on our enslaved ancestors here in America.
I'm still gonna say yes.
I don't need to hear nobody's opinion on Christianity. Your opinion
this is my personal experience.
Hear me out. I respect your opinion on Christianity and your disbelief in Christianity. I respect it. What I'm asking you is somebody who I know study history. I'm asking you to get the history right. I ain't asking you to believe in Christianity. I want to make myself clear, not only to my brother Jose, but to anybody that's going to hear this video. I am not here to petition to anybody to be a Christian if that is not what you want to do. What I'm asking y'all to do is to put some respect on my ancestors' name as it relates to how they became Christians. That's all.
Okay. So let's flip this to the other side there then, right? Right? You're saying Christianity wasn't forced on us. All right. For the sake of argument, let's say I go with that, right? And I give you the fact that a lot of our great ancestors were Christians, and Christianity played a great role in a lot of things that we did. But in my viewpoint, in 2026, they have better things that we can use either instead of Christianity or with Christianity, if you want to do that.
You're not focusing, Jose. You still ain't told me why you think it was forced.
It's not I think. I know.
Okay, so tell me how you know.
History tells me.
Jose, tell me how you know.
Because we were beat and whipped and forced into that ideology.
Give me a source.
Well, I would have to, as I said, I would have to do some research and put together.
So you jumped up here ready to give an opinion that you haven't earned yet. You know, when you give an opinion, you got to earn that opinion, right? It's cool to have one, but if you ain't got nothing behind it, it's just an opinion. Because see, that's fair. I can look at what Sojourner Truth, what Harriet Tubman, what Frederick Douglass said about the enslavers, quote unquote, brand of Christianity and genuine Christianity. And these are people who went through slavery. Phyllis Wheatley, who went through slavery. So are you telling me that your opinion mean more than their own testimony about what they went through?
No. What I'm going to do is put some respect on what you said, because I tell people that all the time. If you're going to say something, bring some facts, bring something to back up what you're saying. Don't just talk out your ass. And I can't get mad at you for saying
that's all I ask. That's
because
all
you
I
hear me
ask.
say that to everybody all the time. And you
that's
know,
all I ask, bro.
You know, once you say that to me, I have to pat down and take the bass out of my voice when you say something like that to me, because I tell everybody that all the time. Don't just talk shit to me.
And let me ask you this, Jose. If Christianity was forced on our ancestors, I asked you this before, if you remember. If Christianity was forced on our ancestors, why did they have the invisible institution? Because, and you know what, let me not talk out the side of my neck or give you any hyperbole. Let's look up the invisible institution. And I'm gonna read to you what it was and why it was important. But I need you to tell me, if Christianity was forced on our ancestors, why would they need the invisible institution? Because this is the thing. You know this like I know this. DMG, right? Hey, I know it hurt, Jose. I know it hurt.
No. And let me tell you why.
I know it hurt.
Let me tell you why.
I know.
Because,
listen, man.
Because
listen, I know it hurt.
No. Let me tell you why. Because
Jose,
you listen.
I've been there.
No, hold on. But let me tell you why. Because you listen.
I've been there. I've been there. I know it hurt. I know it hurt.
You know, I'm
BK and nobody. Real quick, Jose. BK and nobody in the chat. Hey, I want y'all to know. I want my brothers Jerome Green, my brother BK, my sister Michelle Turner, and everybody that was getting on your boy head. I want y'all to know this. I know it hurt, Jose, because y'all was hurt. Y'all was dinging me, man, and I'm ducking and I'm trying to swing on y'all, but y'all, it's too many of y'all, right? Y'all coming with too many facts. So I know my man Jose hurt right now. I know he hurt right now, and I understand. Hey, Jose, I've been there, Jose. And listen, this is why I say. This is what I say. I respect your ability. If you don't want to be a Christian, you don't like Christianity, I respect it. I'm not proselytizing, bro. I'm simply asking people to get the facts straight. Go ahead.
You know, I like you right now because you one of them brothers that can sit down and listen to everything and then repeat back exactly what I said to make me hush my damn mouth. Because you know, if you cuss me and talk about my presentation, I don't care. That'll make no difference to me because I could always fix the presentation. But I can't go back on what I said 50 times on your platform.
No doubt. So listen.
I said it too many times.
Listen to this. This is the invisible institution. The invisible institution refers to the secret, informal, and often hidden religious gatherings and social networks created by enslaved Africans in the United States, particularly in the antebellum South. Operating outside of the surveillance of slaveholders and white authorities, These gatherings allowed enslaved Africans to practice a unique form of Christianity combined with African traditions, providing spiritual sustenance, community support, and a foundation for resistance. Now, I want everybody to understand this. They wasn't meeting under the cover of night in the invisible institution to do Kemetic spirituality, to do Islam, to do Hinduism, Christianity combined with African traditions. Put some respect on their name when y'all try to come with all this other stuff. Listen, man, stop playing with me. So I want people to make me understand, because I just got a GED, so maybe I ain't comprehending. If they had to hide to do this, to practice their unique form of Christianity, when was it forced? Because you ain't got to hide to do what's mandatory. See, if I tell my kids to wash the dishes, they ain't got to sneak when I'm asleep to do the dishes. They can do it right in front of my face because washing the dishes is mandatory. So if they was doing what was forced on them, meaning the enslaver wanted them to do it, why did they have to hide? Y'all, stop. Hey, man, is it my GED education and I'm just too slow? I'm not understanding. Link is in the chat.
Well, I guess at this point, what you have to do is put together a presentation, and we're going to see who make the better point. And if you make better points based on your presentation, then I got to sit my ass down.
Shout out to my man, Follow Mathematic. He say, not only was Christianity forced on slaves, it was used to justify it. You would have to come up here and explain to me how that was Christianity, bro. Because if you weren't here for the beginning, I already covered that the enslaver never gave our ancestors the full corpus of the Bible. You can't have a teaching that's grounded in a particular book and then don't get a whole book. Because if I do that with any other text, Steve in the chat, my man Steve, if I cherry pick spells out of the Kemetic text, and then I say that these particular elements are the foundation for the Kemetic text, and I say something off the wall like, listen, you can have an alternative lifestyle because of what happened between Sutek and Heru, and because Geb was pointing his member at his mouth. Would that be the Kemetic tradition? Would that be the Kemetic spirituality?
No, because the text don't say that.
I got you. But if I cherry pick the text, in particular during the Ptolemy era, that make it seem like Heru and Sutek like came together in an intimate moment, and nobody in the Kemetic community would accept that. Would you agree?
Yeah, because the text.
If I got 30 or 50 texts that I cherry picked from the Maxims of Ptah-hotep and the Pyramid text and the Book of Coming Forth by Day, nobody would accept that those few texts constitute enough knowledge for me to be saying I'm putting forth Kemetic spirituality, right?
But guess what?
No. It's a yes or no, Jose.
I would say no, because I read the text. I know the text doesn't say anything about practicing homosexuality.
Right. No. Hear me out. Forget the narrative about Heru and Sutek. If I took 50 texts, whether it was from the Book of Coming Forth by Day, the Pyramid text, the Maxims of Ptah-hotep, and I took those 50 texts and I said, this and only this is the foundation for being a Kemetic practitioner or adhering to the Kemetic way of life, would that be sufficient?
You know what? Let me be honest with you. Yes.
In your mind.
Hold on. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead. Break it down.
And let me tell you why I switched. Because all of their texts were consistent. the text didn't say anything different from each other. So if I pick one text like the Maximum Ptahhotep and pick another wisdom text, they wouldn't say anything different. They would say the exact same thing. If I look up Amenemhat and I look up Ptahhotep, they would say the exact same thing because they have one continuous culture that never changed. All of them passed on the same knowledge from the father to the son. All of the Per Emheru basically say the exact same thing, other than personalizing people's names. All of the passwords to the underworld were the same in all the texts. So I could take one text and say this text does rightly represent the culture, and I would be right to a certain extent because of the continuity. All of the wisdom texts would say the exact same thing. All of the spiritual texts, the exact same thing.
Now you know that ain't I know a thing or two about the Kemetic text, and you know that ain't true, right?
It is. You could do that.
Okay. Let me get to the Worldview Wars academic champion, my man Steve Calabro, the Kemet infomonger. And Steve, listen, I got a better image for you, bro. It's literally your face. I gotta send that to you. Don't let me forget.
All right, send it to me.
What's up, Steve?
What's going on, Jose? I understand what you're saying.
Jumping me, right?
I'm
getting jumped.
No, it's not.
How you getting jumped and it's just me? We having a
conversation. It ain't just you. It ain't just you. They jumped me the other day. They tried to jump me the other day, Steve.
Oh, man. Steve, don't listen to this guy, man.
They call me 7 Slice Francis, Steve.
DMG and Jose, I understand what DMG is saying. So if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like in the chat, I brought up the slave Bible. So like in your introduction, I don't know if that's the version of the Bible that you're talking about that was given to Black people, that slave Bible. Is that what you're talking about?
Two things. Yeah. The slave Bible never made it over. The slave Bible was in the Caribbean, but they did have a similar here in the United States, in the antebellum South. They did have a similar strategy where they cherry picked certain scriptures and they would weaponize those against our ancestors. My point overall, Steve, is if Christianity is the teachings of the entire corpus of the Bible, if they cherry picked scriptures and didn't give our ancestors, didn't force, as people want to say, the entire corpus on our ancestors, then why do we even call it Christianity?
What I can say is, so syncretism and a blending. So what I can say is that Black people, and people would disagree with me with this one, are inherently spiritual. So
I agree with you 100% on that.
Right. So what we did, so we were taken from a place that had its own spirituality. And I heard you mentioning hoodoo. You could also say voodoo if you want to include voodoo. But there was voodoo also in Benin. So what the Haitians practiced was a version of what already existed in Benin. But what the Haitians say is that behind every saint, Roman Catholic saint, there's a Lua or a Loa, and meaning an ancestor. So that's, in my opinion, that's what it was. It was a syncretism. Like if you listen to some, and I had to learn this by looking at the movie Harriet Tubman. If you look at, if you listen to the Negro spirituals, it's not what people think it is. You know, like wade in the water, children. Like wading. That's not about it. It may represent baptism, but it's also about escaping slavery. About when they had to run through the water and lose, so the hounds wouldn't have their scent anymore. So I agree with you. Right. So in Harriet Tubman as well, they showed you that the preacher, he was up there preaching on Sundays, but also he was leading the congregation, the people and their family through the Underground Railroad. So the Black church. Yes.
Let me read this one more time. The invisible institution refers to the secret, informal, and often hidden religious gatherings and social networks created by enslaved African Americans in the United States, particularly in the antebellum South. operating outside of the surveillance of slaveholders and white authorities, these gatherings allowed enslaved people to practice a unique form of Christianity combined with African traditions, providing spiritual substance, community support, and a foundation for resistance. And this is exactly what Steve is talking about. It was church, but it wasn't just church. It was about...
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
But even today, if you compare the black church and the white church, or black gospel to white gospel, it's different and it's distinct. You see, as you were saying, you see a lot of traditional African spirituality in the black church. So again, it's a syncretism. I beg to differ, however, when you talk about Kemetic spirituality. Kemetic spirituality is also traditional African spirituality.
Oh no, I didn't say it wouldn't. I didn't say it wouldn't. I know for a fact it is.
He wouldn't say that, Steve. He wouldn't say that.
Okay. Not at all. Not at all. Hey Steve, look at my arm, bro. I wouldn't say that.
It seems like
I wouldn't say that at all.
It would appear he spent several years in the faith practicing, unlike me. So
he did. He was in it. Yes, he was. That's why he knows.
Yeah, and I still got the utmost respect for the brothers and sisters at the Temple of Heru. Baba Saba Maurice Seneferu is my man. I still say he's my master teacher. So that it's not about diminishing. It's not about diminishing Kemetic spirituality, hoodoo, the Orisha tradition, the Yoruba. It's not Ifa. It's not about diminishing those traditions. But I do what I need people to do. This is what I want from people. Just be honest about the actual history as reported by our ancestors. See, we talk about that Frederick Douglass quote where he draw a line of demarcation between the Christianity, quote unquote, that was practiced by the enslaver and genuine Christianity, and we just ignore it, even though Frederick Douglass himself was a slave. If he could draw the line of demarcation between what the hypocrites, as he literally called them hypocrites, what the enslaver was doing, and what the abolitionist was doing, what he genuinely figured out and formed his own opinion of as it related to Christianity. If he could do it, who the hell are we who never experienced slavery? Who are we to disagree with him? I don't understand that.
I'm still going to say this to you, DMG. I respect you, and to be honest, I'm treading very lightly with what I'm saying, out of respect for you. Because normally, I said I was going to do that.
I get it, Jose, but you still ain't told me why you talked about the Catholic Church. I gave you some dates. Okay. I gave you some actual dates. I told you when Christianity was formed, and Steve even backed you up. Steve said you did say canonized, but that 325, when they quote unquote canonized, that still wasn't the Catholic Church, my G. That wasn't the Catholic Church.
Once again, DMG, I'm going to take my own stupid advice and put together a proper presentation.
I appreciate it. Think about it. If the Catholic Church started in 550 CE, and we know the quote-unquote canon was put together in 325, even though the Orthodox Christian Church already knew what the canon was, etc. They had they stuff set. But we love to we just want to focus on Rome for whatever reason, and I get it because, as Steve pointed out, they made it legal, and I get all that.
But it still goes to your point, and his point too.
We can't ignore the fact that Christianity had already existed way before Constantine decided to follow it or get involved in it.
Yeah, but
Steve pointed out a very important point there. He used the word syncretism, and that early form of canonized Christianity was syncretism, specifically to bring
we got an echo going, y'all.
That's specifically to bring in people who traditionally would not respect Christianity.
Brother Tahuti, if you got a screen going, mute that screen because we getting the echo.
So thank you. So thank you, Steve, for bringing that in, because from the inception, it was really syncretism intentionally to control people and to appeal to people who wouldn't normally deal with Christianity. So they didn't have to keep throwing these Christians in the lion's den and killing everybody.
I get it, but how much credit are we willing to give Kemet or traditional African spirituality? How much credit? I give them all the credit.
Well, I know DMG is not going to disagree with that, Steve. He would never.
Yeah, it depends on what we're giving them credit for.
Because he does have a slight
disagreement. Where credit is due.
He does have a slight disagreement with Asar, Aset, and Haru being a Trinity that Christianity talks about. He has another idea.
I'm not saying that they're the Trinity, but I'm saying that being part of the foundation of Christianity in terms of a dying and rising God, because Osir is a dying and rising God. It's just that he died as Osir and resurrected as Heru, his son.
He doesn't agree with that, Steve.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that Asar was a dying and rising God, but you have a bunch of dying and rising gods in that area.
Right.
Some that predate Asar. So who do we need to get a credit to? If we giving the credit, if you mean in terms of Christianity, as it relates to the Mediterranean, you had multiple dying and rising gods. It wasn't just Asar. So who do we give the credit to? If we giving the credit for Christianity to somebody else, who do we give it to? Because it couldn't just be Asar, because you got dying and rising gods that predated Asar, like Inanna. Inanna predates Asar.
Let's do this.
And Inanna's story is way more similar to that of Christ than Asar's is.
So at least give Inanna credit then.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this then, DMG. Let's look at the line of transmission when you deal with the Greeks themselves being in Kemet, stating that they dealt with Kemetic spirituality and they did incorporate it into what they're doing. We know that. We know that they Greekified Kemet.
You're talking about the Ptolemies. They call it Ptolemies.
No, I'm talking about the Greeks in general.
Hey, Jose. I always say Hellenization is a precursor for colonization.
Right,
so we know
they say that.
But and we can talk about all those things at a later date.
But there are quotes of them saying that.
The purpose for this conversation was whether or not Christianity, as we know it's supposed to be, was forced on our ancestors. Consider what our ancestors said, consider the evidence we have. Was it forced? Was Christianity forced on our ancestors?
You're adding a trick to the question.
Let me read it. Was Christianity forced on African slaves in America?
The fact of the matter is, if you're going that route, then nobody practiced actual Christianity. If you're going to say that.
So is that your reason for saying Christianity was forced? You still ain't told me why you think it was forced. You start talking about the Catholic Church. You start talking about how you feel about Christianity. Hold on. You told me how you feel about Christianity. We start talking about Kemet. You still ain't told me how it was forced under the circumstances that I laid out.
I told you. Because they tell you when you become a Christian, we treat you differently as a Christian. If you're not a Christian, you are shit. We could take your shit and do what we want to, and you have no soul. Papal bulls say that. That is why people became Christians.
So you feel like the Papal bulls was Christianity?
Well, hell yeah.
How? Let me go back to, now I got to go back to the definition of Christianity, and then you can tell me if the Papal bulls was Christianity. That's what we got to do.
Okay, I got a question. Like
Christianity is not the same as doing what Christ did, huh? It's not the same.
The name, right? Being the slave master's name being forced on us. We had to take on the slave master's name.
That's Europeanism. That's not Christianity though.
Okay, no, I'm not arguing for or against. I'm just bringing up an example, right? So that's a European name that was forced on us, but it happens to be the name of a Christian slave master. So were those Christian names forced on us? And I'm
Was
not
the
saying
slave master actually a Christian, Steve? Let me ask you this,
yes.
Steve.
I mean, ideologically, in the purest sense,
I
no,
need the
no, they
clean
weren't.
glass and the dirty glass.
No,
Who do you think exemplified Christian ideals in real life?
The slave,
the enslaver, or the abolitionist?
I don't give them white because you see, I give the black abolitionists credit. I give the black abolitionists credit, but them white abolitionists were
this ain't about black and white, Steve.
Gaining a system as well.
Just focus on we ain't got to get into the black and white of it. Focus on the black abolitionists, because not every black abolitionist was a former slave.
Right.
I just talked about my man Tunis, who was born free and was an abolitionist preacher. John Brown, well, you said no whites. So let's talk about the black abolitionists who were never slaves, who were Christians.
Right.
Why do we give the enslaver more credit for being Christians than we give the abolitionists?
They weren't Christians in the purest sense of the word. That can't be no Christian. No. They're Christians in the name, but how can you be doing that to another human? How can you be doing that to another human being and I get your point. I know that's your point. I understand your point, and that's your point, and that's still relevant and true today. And a lot of that goes on today. But you see, that's what people do. That's what people do. That's what we've been indoctrinated to do. Because and then the other part, because we're doing it in this name, because I'm doing it in the name of Jesus, that's what makes it right. No, no matter whose name you're doing it in, it's not right. You can call Jesus.
Let me ask y'all this, because I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up, because I got JJ in like 20 minutes. JJ is gonna be going at my man Cap 10K. Everybody want Cap 10K head. Cap is back on Paradigm Shift TV 314, and everybody is on my brother neck. Elder Yaradin came from. Khalil Shabazz came from. Now JJ 7000, aka Mandinka Mali, is coming at Cap 10K and the 12 Tribes chart. So y'all stay tuned for that in about 20 minutes. But I want to say this. Let me read this definition one more time, Jose, because I know it hurt. Christianity is the world's largest monotheistic religion centered on the life, teachings, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Followers believe Jesus is the Son of God and Messiah who died to atone for humanity's sin, offering reconciliation to God, and emphasizes a loving relationship with God, grace, and eternal life. Now, we got my man Tahuti back. Tahuti, can you let me see if we can hear you?
Yeah, is my sound coming in good?
You good, bro?
All right, real quick. I know you brought up that question, and a lot of people who have an affinity to Christianity will bring up that question, but the key thing of focus that we need to stay on is, if I develop a system that overthrows your traditional system, and then after colonialism, everybody takes on this new system and they see how I'm treating people just in general, and I'm also offering certain people slaves and I'm tokenizing them, right? And then it comes to find out years later, you say, well, Christianity isn't our religion. And then I say, well, did I force anybody to take it? How you feel about that? It's the same concept, because if I create a system that overthrows the original system, and then now out of indoctrination, everybody is then born into this new system because they have no knowledge of the old system. Yeah, I'm not directly forcing them, but it is a way of forcing them into that new system.
Well, I would say this, bro. I mean, I would understand what you were saying if that's what happened to our ancestors, but that's not what happened. We came. What year would you say our ancestors was brought over here as slaves?
So you have documentation of ships coming over here, 1526. A little bit earlier than that, but I know that an official date that they acknowledge is 1526, and that is South Carolina.
Okay, and I can agree with that. So if this system, which was a sinister, barbaric system, right? If it forced Christianity, why do you think in mass? Not saying none of them converted to Christianity, especially in the North where they was free. But in mass, our ancestors didn't become Christians until after 1800, given that we was over here all that time.
Okay, but at the same time, like you have to look at the tokens. So when you tokenize people, right, you're not telling them that this is better than what we got going on. What you're saying is, I'm going to treat you better than the other people that I'm treating and mistreating, and I see as chattel, and now I see you as a diplomat or a viceroy. So now, of course, in survival mode, if I'm making choices out of survival mode, I might as well be forced into it.
But that's my point. That's my point, bro. With all of those, and I'm not saying that what you said didn't occur, but even with that occurring, getting over here in the early 1500s, our ancestors in mass didn't decide, like even if they developed if you can't beat them, join them attitude, it took 300 years. It took 300 years to force them into this? That don't make sense. And
it makes sense if you look at it through another lens. It has to make sense because, again, if I put conditions on you that's unfavorable, you don't know your traditions, right? And then you see that, well, these guys who are practicing Christianity are getting treated better. They're getting butter biscuits. They're getting promoted to preacher. They're preacher of the plantation now. They're getting their butter biscuits. They're becoming viceroys. They actually become freedmen if they become overseers based on their exception of Jesus, right? So in a way you can say, well, we didn't hold a gun to his head or these people's head. They decided to convert. But if you look at it in retrospect, the conditions that were placed in front of them actually forced them to convert.
And was the traditional way of life outlawed? 1 second, DMG.
I would be with you.
Well, I got a question.
Give me 1 second, Steve. I would be 100% with you because, again, I'm not denying that what you said didn't take place. But given the time that our ancestors was over here and all of the things that they experienced, and again, going off of their own testimony, they wouldn't fill in what the enslaver was saying up in church. So even when they went along to get along, they literally was calling this individual a hypocrite. And let's listen to this right quick. As late as 1800, most slaves in the United States had not been converted to Christianity. In the years that followed, however, widespread Protestant evangelism emphasizing individual freedom and direct communication with God brought about the first large-scale conversion of enslaved men and women. In other words, when they actually got the entire corpus of the text, they made personal decisions to become Christians. Because here's my overall point. Given that we got here when you said we did the 1520s, if they was being forced to be Christians, it wouldn't have took 300 years for that to take place. If they was getting beat and whipped into submission to convert to Christianity, you think they would have took them whoopings for 300 years before they converted? If that was their reason for converting, even with the
Well, it was a
even with the preachers, it wouldn't have took 300 years. What I'm saying is, our ancestors made a conscious decision to become Christians by their own admission. And I'm saying put some respect on their choice. You don't have to make that same choice. But let's not act like they was weak, they was jellyback, they was punks, they was stupid. They made a conscious decision. Frederick Douglass lay it out for us, bro. He talked about what the
let me say this. Let me say this real quick.
Versus what he felt.
Let me say this real quick.
But
that
once you go, I want to go to my man Hercules, and then I got to get out of here because I got JJ coming up. Go ahead, bro.
All right, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna close out. If you can say that we can't blame our ancestors for willfully converting to Christianity, then you also can't blame your ancestors for actually making the decision to convert to Christianity out of survival, which would again equal to force. And then you have a process. See, this was a sophisticated plan. When you laying down a sophisticated plan, you're not going to go through the physical process of forcing people to convert. But however, this process is going to include some variations of force to get obedience, some variations of bamboozlement, so you can willingly get people to convert without forcing them to. That's the whole process of mental slavery, is you get people to think that this is the only choice that they can make because their tradition is lost. So that's why I said, if you're born into colonialism and indoctrinated into a tradition, after that tradition was used to overthrow yours, then yes, being bamboozled is the same thing as being forced.
I got you, and I respect your outlook, bro. Hopefully, I can get you to come on some more and talk about whatever it is, your worldview or whatever your opinions is or findings is on whatever topic. So I'm gonna put my email in the private chat. Maybe we can link up.
All right, Hotel. I gotta leave, but it was nice chopping it up.
All right, Hotel, my brother. Let me go to Hercules, and then I'm gonna go to you and Jose for y'all to have y'all last word. Go ahead, Herc.
Hey, what's going on, fam? So I missed the whole joint, you know what I'm saying, because I was out and about. But I understand. I think I understand your premises and where you're coming from. And I think, you know, this is a real deep conversation, because it's not just about like the surface level, like where they force into Christianity. I think, you know what I'm saying, one of the things that Tahuti was trying to point out was coercion, was being coerced and being, you know, tricked and believed. It's something that Marine Baani pointed out in her book, Yurugu, is that we have to understand that Christianity, you know what I'm saying, it's not an African thing. It's not an African concept. And many Christians would tell you that, you know, the Heru and Osiris Set story is not, it has nothing to do with, you know, Jesus Christ. And, you know what I'm saying, if you're coming from that point of view, if you're going to say that, then we can say thoroughly that, okay, Christianity has nothing to do with black people. So from my point of view, I'm not looking at it, was it force? Because we got to look at coercion. You know what I'm saying? Is what Tahuti was trying to point out, is that people was coerced. We got to remember that a lot of our people grew up without their parents. They were taken away from their parents on the auction block. They was auctioned off, and they did not raise their own children, so they did not know the culture that they came from. So you was raised up into a Western culture where, you know, you was introduced to the Bible, you was introduced to Christianity, without knowing anything about where you came from, about your ancestors, about, you know, Africa, whatever. So this is some of the things that I think you're overlooking, is how some people were taken off. Were not raised with their parents. And one of my great grandmas on my dad's side came from this legacy. and she told a story, you know, saying about her how she was auctioned off on the auction block, and her mom was pleading for her to be, you know, kept with her, but they were separated. So a lot that happened a lot. That was not just once incident. That happened a lot. It was a separation. You know what I'm saying? White people were thorough what they were doing. They knew they had to separate you from the African, you know, continent and stuff. So was it forced upon us? Is I would say no, it wasn't forced, because you know what I'm saying, you had coercion. You know, they give you, you know what I'm saying, the Bible, they tell you that this is a righteous life. And many of our people in the late 1800s, as you pointed out, you know what I'm saying, use Christianity to better themselves. And we see that through history. They use Christianity to better themselves and make a better life for black people all through the late 1800s up to the the 1900s and stuff. When we see that, I think a better question is Christianity useful, or is it better? Does it benefit black people? Does it benefit African people? Period. And I would stand on the side of that. I would say no. You know what I'm saying? And the reason that I come from, I would say no, because you know what I'm saying, you can look at Africa today and you can see the detrimental stuff that's going on today. You can look at us in America today and you can see how our people there, you know what I'm saying? You could talk about individual benefits and what you have done as an individual, but as a group, as a one group of people, you cannot point as a group of people that we have benefited, unlike you could do with Europeans. As a group of people, they have benefited. They built up France, they built up Britain, they built up Sweden, they built up Spain, you know, on the backs of Christianity. As a group of people, they've done that. So we can't do that the same thing with African people. So I mean, this is a deeper conversation to get into. I apologize that, you know what I'm saying, I caught the end of it, and I can't really get, you know what I'm saying, explain everything in detail. But that's you know, that's my point. And you know what I'm saying, and it's a good point.
Check out the show from the beginning, and then just remind me to send you my Substack article, and then see if we can set up a deeper conversation about it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Appreciate you, bro. Steve, talk to us.
So I would say, well, then taking on, the slave master's name, who ideologically may not have been a Christian, but he had a Christian name. Taking on his name was part of the seasoning process. Assimilation into slave society, and for slaves to understand their place within that society, and also being denied, we could not practice our traditional spirituality. We could not beat our drums. We could not practice the way that we practice in Africa. And being inherently spiritual, we found an acceptable way to practice our spirituality, and that could quite possibly be the way that the slave master wanted us to practice our spirituality. Traditional African spirituality is quite different from how Christianity is practiced today. I also maybe not forced, but I would say coerced, a coercion and assimilation into, and also a denying us from practicing our traditional African systems, what we know. And then, so what did we do? We had to find it in other ways, in other places, and then mask it. So, on one hand, you think that's what we're doing, but really, that's not what we're doing. We're really doing something else. And we're going to take what you're trying to give to us and mold it and shape it into something that's going to help us to achieve our liberation, our freedom. So maybe not forced, but I would say definitely coercion, because denying us our identity and who we are and trying to make us into something that looks more like them. That was definitely done. But even within that framework, we still found our own identity, and we still fought for our liberation. And so I'm just going to end with that. But I know, like, brother Jose, we both from Trinidad, and even in the Caribbean, that's what Black people did wherever we were. it was a matter of assimilation, but we also found resistance and liberation within the assimilation to make our own identity. So it may not have been forced, but it was definitely coerced.
Okay. Brother Jose.
Wait a minute. All this time, Steve is a Trini. He ain't say nothing.
I thought y'all knew that already.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out the accent. I wasn't sure because I know he got one of them kind of mix up kind of accent.
Trinity to the bone,
But Jose, I need you to close this thing out. I got Mandinka Molly coming up.
I'm gonna say this. Maybe I'm not the best person to have this conversation with you because it's very uncomfortable because of the respect I have for you, and I can't say what I want to say. And you're not one to disrespect Kemet.
I told, as long as you ain't use no foul language, bro, you could have said whatever you wanted to say. I'm not. Hey, trust and believe. I'm never gonna. People come up here and say the craziest stuff about Christianity, bro. I'm not tripping. When I say if you black, I'm with you. I mean it, I was there, so I'm not tripping off of what nobody come up here and say. As long as they not personally targeting me, my queen, my kids, etc. Because I understand how people feel about it. So don't think you can't be honest in what you're saying.
No, but here's the problem, DMG, and I'm gonna end here. Your story about why you became a Christian and the family connection touches me, and I would feel like a dirty bastard if I stepped on that. I can't do it.
I appreciate it, bro.
Because it's not just I'm a Christian because is you a Christian because it deals with your family and it's a lot deeper than just I want to be a Christian, and I have to respect that. Now, if somebody like BK or somebody else, I could do that, but I can't do that with you. That's not the right thing to do because you honestly have a deep connection to this thing, and you don't disrespect him. So I'm okay with that as long as you don't disrespect him. I have nothing to say. You can be all the Christian you want. You can take me to church. I'll do all that. Only because it's you, but, you know.
I appreciate you, bro.
Your brothers and sisters don't get that respect, and they might get that respect only because I'm on this platform and I don't want to say what I want to say. So just remember.
All right, let them know where your channel is, bro.
Solomonic TV, SOLOMONIC, Solomonic TV, and as you see, it will have this icon on it. But what I want to do, I'm starting a new channel. So what we probably should do is take this particular fight over to that channel.
Okay.
And then we could do that, and then you could just stream it. And when I put it up, I could just send you the link and everything because I think that'd be a good promotion for the channel.
Got you. Y'all go over there and support my brother, man. He a good brother. I rock with him. And again, as I always say, our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity. And I think, I respect everybody's opinion. I respect everybody's thought process. Shout out to my man Philo. Again, you talking about the dumb diverses as if that's Christianity. I read the definition of Christianity, and I'm gonna read it one more time before I get out of here. So I don't care what a pope did. I don't care what a papal bull said. Christianity is the world's largest monotheistic religion centered on the life, teachings, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Followers believe Jesus is the Son of God and the Messiah who died to atone for humanity's sins, offering reconciliation with God. It emphasizes a loving relationship with God, grace, and eternal life. I don't know like a papal bull. What that got to do with the price of tea in China? Because I would submit to you and anybody else who come to me with the papal bulls, the Catholic Church, and any other races that weaponized the Bible or weaponized Christianity. That ain't Christianity. Again, Frederick Douglass said it best, a man who lived through slavery. I don't know who we think we is with our cushy lives built off the backs of him and other ancestors. I don't know who we think we is to disagree with him and Phyllis Wheatley who was a slave, and Sojourner Truth, who was a slave, when they say what the enslaver was doing was a knockoff brand of Christianity, they loved the genuineness of actual Christianity. And we sitting here with our cushy lives, ain't never had a spent time on a plantation in our life, ain't never picked no kind of cotton or tobacco or sugar, ain't had to run for our lives, ain't had to fight in no wars if we ain't, unless we chose to. We ain't have to fight for our freedom. They fought for their very freedom in the Civil War. And then we get up here and say what they saying is false. It's crazy. But, hey, y'all know what it is, man. If you Black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies shouldn't keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. So this is a place where all opinions, ideologies, and worldviews are welcome to come up and speak their speech. Cream gonna rise to the top. So y'all come on, Black man. Conversations can spark change. This has been episode 1 of The Infamous Perspective. I hope y'all come back and rock with me for episode number 2. Shout out to my man, Follow Mathematics. Shout out to my man, St. Louis 314. I'm going to have to get you on here soon, brother. Shout out to BK, Hercules, Michelle, Indigenous Black Man, Step Into the Light, Nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel, and everybody else that joined. We're going to be coming at y'all with more of these. Right now, the link is in the chat. Come on over with me and JJ. We're going to be up in about 5 minutes. We appreciate y'all. That's peace.
I can't stand it. Don't ever make a mistake of sticking your nose in my business. If I'm down and out, I'll get up and take care of myself. Woo, I'm going to tear you down. When I get to town, we're going to treat all you women the way women ought to be treated. Miami Beach, get ready. Woo, we on tour and we're doing it better than anybody else alive. It's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name when last year I spent more money on spilled liquor in bars from one side of this world to the other than you made. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did this for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, got them feelings, I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you on my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about old. I'm on that now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. Trash now, I'ma pass out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been duck dog getting to my new merch, colored duck sauce on the new couch with my Chuck song. Get the on with that hate. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a hawk guy on the ball cat. Get the out of my face.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.